Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are doing well. We are moving to the last section of Unit 2, that is current electricity, and the last section is Kirchhoff's laws. These laws address the law of conservation of energy and charge in the context of electrical circuits. These laws were first published by Gustav Kirchhoff in the year 1845. And these are extremely useful and helpful for the analysis of closed circuits. If you have a network of elements in a circuit, it helps you to basically find out the current flowing through the circuit in each branch of the circuit. Let's start with the laws. There are two laws. The first law is Kirchhoff's first law, or it is also called junction rule, and it is also called KCL, the full form for which will be Kirchhoff's current law. And the second one is Kirchhoff's second law. Naturally, after first law comes the second law, right? It is also called loop rule because we need to take a loop, the circuit loop, into consideration. Also, it is sometimes called KVL or Kirchhoff's voltage law. The first rule deals with the current at a junction, and the second law deals with the voltage or potential drop in a loop. Let's proceed to state the two laws. The first law is Kirchhoff's first law, or KCL. You have a junction in which you have a number of currents flowing into the junction, say I1, I2, I3, and you have, after entering the junction, the current leave making two branches. Just an example, I4 and I5. According to Kirchhoff's current law, the algebraic sum of all these currents at this junction is equal to 0. That means sigma, which denotes summation of the current at the junction, is equal to 0. This is the shortcut to remember Kirchhoff's current law. If I want to write it elaborately, I can write it as the total current entering the junction. Which are the currents entering the junction? I1, I2, I3. So the total current will be I1 plus I2 plus I3 will be equal to the total current leaving the junction, I4 plus I5. If you bring this on the left hand side, it becomes I1 plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 minus I5. Minus indicates that the current is leaving the junction, but whatever it is, the sum of all the currents at this particular junction will be equal to 0. Now this current, it is an application of the principle of conservation of charges, because the current is nothing but charge divided by time. So if the total current entering is equal to total current leaving, that means total charge entering is equal to total charge leaving. So isn't the charge conserved here? Yes. So that is all about Kirchhoff's current law. We will move on to the second law, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law, also called the loop rule. It states that the sum of potential difference, that is the voltage drop across all the circuit elements along a closed loop, is equal to again 0. Suppose you have a loop. Loop is a closed circuit, alright. With EMF equal to epsilon, this becomes one of the potential drops. You have a resistance R1, you have one more resistance R2, comes back here. This is a loop, closed loop, alright. Now how many potential drops can you see here? One is this one, EMF of the cell. Now as the current is traveling here, though the current remains the same, but the potential gets dropped, alright. So the potential drop here will be equal to V1. According to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR1. So this is the second potential drop in this loop, and the third one here is V2, that is equal to IR2. Alright. if we add up this, this and this in the circuit, of course with sign convention taken, it comes down that the sum of the potential drops, I am writing delta here to denote potential difference or drop, is equal to 0. Because it is a loop, obviously it will be 0. Suppose I started from here, A, B, C, D. What is the potential at A? Say it is VA. Potential difference in the loop. Again, what is the final point of the loop? Again, it is A. So, VA minus VA, they have the same potential. So, naturally, it is equal to 0. That is the meaning. And here in this law, the total energy of the system is conserved. So, it complies with the law of conservation of energy. First law is an application of law of conservation of charge, and the second law is an application of the law of conservation of energy. You have to keep these two things into mind. Now, main thing here is that you should know how to solve numericals applying Kirchhoff's laws. Alright, now in examination, I am talking about ISC, I am talking from ISC point of view. How the questions will be asked from Kirchhoff's law? The basic statement may be asked, law of conservation of charge and energy may be asked. The main thing asked for 3 marks will be to find out the current flowing in each branch of a complex network given to you. Alright, for that you need to take a few things into consideration. How you are going to assign the sign to the potential drop, especially in Kirchhoff's second law. Alright, now I will take a very simple circuit. Say it is 2.5 ohm, you have one resistance here, EMF of a cell is 18 volt, okay, and you have another resistance of value 6 ohm, okay. I am going to apply Kirchhoff's second law here to frame an equation. The direction of flow of current has to be marked, alright, from positive to negative. And how many potential drops can you see here? How many elements can you see in this circuit? 1, 2 and 3. So, in total how many potential drops can you see? You can see 3 potential drops. One is because of this. So, one of the potential drops, say V1, okay, plus or minus, I will come to that later. The second potential drop, say the current flowing is I, the second potential drop is equal to, because of this resistance, so V is equal to IR, R is 6, yes, and the third potential drop plus or minus I, here also plus or minus I into R is 2.5 according to Kirchhoff's junction voltage rule. The sum of the potentials is equal to 0. Now, let me tell you how to assign the signs. You take a loop. Suppose I start from this point A, B, C, D, A. So, my loop that I have taken into consideration is A, B, C, D, A. In loop A, B, C, D, A, I can see 3 potentials, and you have to assign a direction for the loop as well, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. That's absolutely up to you. Here I am taking clockwise. So, my direction of the loop is clockwise. Now, the rule to follow while you assign the sign is that while you traverse the loop, please don't look at the direction of current right now, alright. While you traverse the loop, always have a look at the cell here, okay. Now, if the potential of the cell is increasing while you are coming through the loop, then you will put a positive sign here, okay. That means, is the potential increasing here? You have 0 here and here you have 18. Naturally, you are going from a lower potential to a higher potential. There is a potential gain. So, here I am supposed to assign a positive sign here. So, it is plus V1. I have assigned positive because there is an increase in potential. Now, this I into 6, will it be plus or minus? Now, while you are traversing the loop and you are crossing the resistance, if the direction of the loop is the same as the direction of current, then you take a negative sign, not positive. Here you are going to take a negative sign. So the second one will not be plus, it will be minus, because the loop and the current are in the same direction while you are crossing this resistance. Minus 6I. Now the third one. Now as you are crossing this 2.5 ohm resistor through the loop, and if you look at the current's direction also here, are they in the same direction? Yes. So the sign you are assigning here is minus 2.5I is equal to 0. Now you can easily find out the value of I here, because everything else is known to you. V1, the value is 18, 6, 2.5, the only thing unknown here is I. So you can easily find out the value of I. Now this is a very simple circuit, maybe asked for 1 mark in the examination. But if we talk about 3 marks, let me solve the question from ISC 2020 paper for you. ISC 2020, the figure was given like this. Epsilon 1, then there was a branching, one more resistance here, loop number 1, one more loop was given with one more cell. So this is where Kirchhoff's law comes handy. You have a lot of cells, you have a lot of resistance which is neither in series nor in parallel. How are you going to find out the value of current? This is the solution. You are going to apply Kirchhoff's law. Now here the value was 4 ohm. The value of epsilon is 3 volt comma 2 ohm. Then it was 8 ohm here, and here it was 4 ohm comma 4 volt comma 1 ohm, and here it is 7 ohm. Mark the direction of current. It was given in the question paper this time, may not be given next time. Now you can see a junction here, current entering. This is I1, this is I2. Junction rule will be applied in the diagram itself. Current entering I1 plus I2 will be equal to current leaving, that should be again equal to I1 plus I2. Now you can see here, the question is you need to find out the value of I1 and I2. To find out two unknowns, you are supposed to frame two equations in two variables. The two variables will be I1 and I2. Alright, let us first take the loop's name A, B, C, D, E, F. So I will frame the first equation here. In loop A, B, E, F, A, we are going to apply Kirchhoff's voltage law here with the sign. Now to find out the signs, you have to assign either clockwise or anti-clockwise direction to the loop. Here I am assigning clockwise. Now as you are traversing the loop in a clockwise direction, when you are crossing the cell, the negative terminal comes first, followed by the positive. Potential is increasing here, so you are going to assign a plus sign here. So 3. Now the second potential drop will be because of this 8 ohm. I will just write 8 IR, right? I1 plus I2. And thirdly, 4. This is I1. There is one more here, you tend to miss it out. The resistance diagram is not drawn, but it has been mentioned 3 volt comma 2 ohm. This 2 ohm is the internal resistance of the cell, which will contribute to the potential drop here. Now the potential drop because of this will be equal to I1 into the resistance value. See, I have not assigned any sign to these. I am going to do it now. While you are going crossing this resistance, the loop is coming in the downward direction, the current is also coming in the downward direction. So same direction, supposed to assign negative, same direction, negative, same direction, negative. According to Kirchhoff's voltage law, the sum of the potential drops across all the elements is equal to 0. On solving, you are going to get an equation 14I1 plus 8I2 is equal to 3. This is my equation number 1. So you have got one equation in two variables. I need to frame one more equation in these two variables. For that, I am going to take the second loop. The second loop, I will be taking anti-clockwise. You can take clockwise if you want, but I am taking anti-clockwise for convenience. Now, while you are traversing the loop, the first potential drop is 4 volt. Obviously, you are going like this, negative to positive, increasing potential. So, plus. Then, another potential drop will be because of this internal resistance. So, it will be I2 into 1. Third one, same here, I1 plus I2 into 8. And the last one, I2 into 7. Now, we need to assign the signs here. This is already positive, increasing potential. Now, while you are traversing this 8 ohm, they are in the same direction, current and this loop, and here also same direction. So, everything will be negative, will be equal to 0. On solving, you are getting 2I1 plus 4I2 will be equal to 1. This was equation 2, and we had equation 1 as 14I1 plus 8I2 is equal to 3. This was equation 1. Take any method of solving simultaneous equations. You will get the values of I1 and I2. Answer I am writing here. Please solve it yourself. It's just solving simultaneous equations. I1 is equal to 0.1 ampere and I2 is equal to 0.2 ampere. These are the answers that you should be getting. Please do it, and if you have any problems, you may contact me. Thank you.